I had 7 o'clock, call the meeting of Monday, September 24th.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you're ready, do a roll call, please.
Present. Joe Root. Present. Mike Rader.
Present.
Tim Brewer.
Present.
Mike Kelly.
President, you have provided the minutes of September 7th and also the statement from Stacy and Tammy were incorporated into those minutes. So looking for a motion to approve.
I move we accept the minutes as presented.
Motion by Kent, second by Rick. Roll call.
Joe Root.
Aye.
Mike Rader.
Aye.
Rick Van.
Aye.
Tim Brewer.
Aye.
Mike Kelly.
Aye. Public participation, I don't see. Okay, we have some guests from Central Dispatch. I don't know which one's going to present, but we'd like for you to come up to the podium and do that from there, please. And welcome Alan also. And thank you.
Colleen Dillingham, my
Okay.
assistant director, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm Renee Craig, and I'm director at Central Dispatch.
Thank you.
Good evening. We kind of came about kind of last minute, obviously, as you guys have kind of figured out. It started some discussion, as you know, we do the light plant after hours calls. We have since the dispatch opened January 2011. My first initial budget hearing in August, the council and I, we discussed, we've never raised our light plant, and like I said, those have been at 36,000. We started January 3rd of 2011. So each year, the utilities, they do pay us $3,000 a month. And back when it started, just prior to me being director, that kind of came about as an amount that would pay the salary of basically one dispatcher from our department. So that's how back in 11 years ago, that's 10 years ago, that's how that amount came about. It was 36,000. So Alan Dunn is council president, and the council and I, we were basically just having some discussion in August. I knew you were probably well already into your budget time, just as I was at my department, and my numbers all had to be in by July 1. So at my second budget hearing in September, Joe just actually happened to be in the room waiting to do his budgets. And we had that discussion, and I did bring up that I had not had a conversation with Todd or anyone with utilities, but that we had been thinking about back in August and maybe looking into contacting utilities and maybe increasing what is paid for the after-hours services. Joe said, you were getting ready to be meeting, and so I believe he made a phone call. Not sure to who, how it happened, or Todd, and he called me later that day and said, hey, can you come to the meeting? So here I am. A couple things to talk to you about. I just went ahead and printed some reports just for you to have. So the first you will see, I just put in reports totals from 2015 until today. So like on that first page, it will show the utility call outs. The total calls received for 2015 as an example is 212. However, I want to tell you those numbers are off. When we have a call out, we add a call in our Spillman, and that's where this report comes from. It's generated from our in-house. We only make one call in Spillman. So if you have a large power outage and whoever happens to be the first person that calls in, we list, 554 West Washington Street as the initial. We continue to take calls after calls, as you all can imagine. We may take 50 phone calls but we only have one utility call out. We go in our CAD call and document all those phone calls with additional addresses. To kind of show you that next, if you look, I printed off a few phone calls or CAD call reports for you to look at. So the first one, it's utility call out. Actually, Jim, you were the first person to call in on this. This was September 14th of 2021. And you'll see, so Jim actually reported LA States is without power. And then if you look on down below, my dispatchers continue to log different addresses and calls that we get. So we only made one utility call out incident, but we had multiple calls for that. So I just printed off a few of those for you to look at just to see how we do that. They're printed front and back just for you to look at. If you look at that second page, June 19th, we had some calls reporting an outage, and then we start listing numbers. 1650 South, County Road 900 East, East State Road 28, different ones as we go. So our actual total calls is kind of deceiving because we only may create one call, but we have taken 10 calls. Some calls are only one call that may just affect one residents. So I just wanted to print that out for you just to have something to look at. This year, and I did go ahead from 2015 each year through as of today. So today we're at 153 calls from January 1 through today. We're at 153. You can see we're pretty stay consistent, just over 200 a year. And we're open, obviously, for any discussion, any questions. It's just something that we had not, like I said, we had not increased anything since 2011. Back then, again, I'm just repeating myself here. 36,000 was to pay for one salary of a dispatcher. Over the years, we have gotten raises. So going into next year, base dispatcher would make $42,057.75. So if you divide that by 12, it's $504.81.
Increase it to
It's up for discussion, and I don't expect anything to be made today, but we haven't done anything with that for all these years. No, you're fine. I was here today with some information, and like I said, I really wasn't planning on coming to you this soon because I knew you were in the middle of the budgets, just like I was. So I was thinking we would wait a few months, but then when Joe said, hey, you can come out, so we, like I said, we can just have a discussion, and ask any questions or anything.
Since 2011, how much has the central dispatch paid the utilities for the use of water?
They believe under the contract, they don't pay.
And I guess one of my questions would be, back then when that contract was growing, why did it go that way?
So I think they were too free saying like that was.
Well, I think, one of the options for central dispatch back then, or for the county and the city and everything, would have been to put up a tower.
Sure.
A tower.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that at all.
Obviously, that was a major expense.
Other
And
decisions.
they went, we had offered, several offers, which the county water tower in Jefferson, at the time when this one had, which was in the contract, for us to turn around and, give you 6 months notice. And we, I think, gave you 8 months. That's plenty of time to.
Yeah, we do in February. Todd came to the commissioners meeting in February. Yes, absolutely.
I was the one who brought it up to him and told him, I said, that's
Yes, that
common.
was, yes. And I made sure that was locked before the deadline. I made sure that was all taken down and before the deadline in April.
What is the reason not going back on there?
So, you were to have a letter from the attorney as per the contract to say that it's not going to go, it's to keep this from happening. And it may not, obviously in my career, this has, it may not affect me, but I don't want it to happen again to anybody else. It has diminished our public safety radio communications. It's terrible. It is terrible. Like the Frankfurt site is so critical in everything, and you understand from it from when you were, with the county. I knew it would decrease our in-building coverage, if an officer is in here. I knew that it was going to decrease. It has decreased our building. Like, you can talk to any of the public safety responders, police, fire, EMS, they will tell you it has been terrible, and I don't want to see that happen again, Like I said, it may be another 10 years before work has to be done on the water tower, but I don't have to worry about it. We don't have to worry about it.
In my opinion on it, I mean, I've received numerous calls on it, because a lot of people thought that was us that had it down, and I explained to them, this was in a contract,
Yes.
Central Dispatch, the 911 committee, Steve Woods and I talked about it years ago,
Yes.
and the people that let you down, Raycom, that had the 8-month notice, that didn't come in and do their homework and say, this is what we got to do to give you exact radio coverage that you have right now. And not wait until the antennas come down and then try to do
Well,
something.
Motorola and the state, actually the state, we knew, it was IPSC. They knew, they said, and again, Eatonville Tower is very strong. The thumbprint on that Eatonville Tower covers a lot of, even into the city of Frankfurt. Mobiles, those are pretty good. Portables are terrible. Portables are terrible. I'm sorry that you got phone calls about it. I've dealt with I've dealt with it for months, and I have worked very diligently trying to get, working with the state, trying anything, it's frustrating. And it has nothing, it's not your fault. You guys have things to
It's
do.
not your
I
fault.
know,
Okay.
and it's not, I did everything humanly possible trying to see if we had anything with the state, any other option during this time, and because the site was completely disabled, it's not like we had severe weather come through, the state, with it, they have portable, sites that they can move around, but because the site was completely disabled, that wasn't an option. So, yeah, it's not your fault, it's not my fault, it is what it is, and, but I just don't want this to happen again, and it has nothing to do with you guys, it's just that, emergencies don't stop. And, for it to decrease communications has just been, it's just been terrible. I'm trying to create a long-term solution for that.
I have another question. If you have some. One of the questions I would have is, see, our people, excuse me, we're in the process, and we're going to be doing some budget. Actually, they're in the process right now. So, if indeed you need to increase it, we need to know sooner than, because if it goes past when we do our budget,
No,
so if you have a figure in mind, we probably should know about it, because that's because after the fact, we won't be able to get it.
No, I understand, and that's why it was last minute that I came, and the only reason Joe happened to be in the meeting that we discussed it. I had told Alan in the council that I had not approached anybody, because by the time we talked about it in August, my budgets were already in July. You guys would have been in this, I would assume the city is in the same boat as us.
We're a little different than the city.
Okay,
We have,
and so
we
I
have
didn't
till
understand, that's
November
why I
to
did
get
not
ours.
come, that's why I had not rushed it, because I assumed you would have already been in the middle. So it wasn't like it was, I wanted to get here, and that was not at all.
so you're not
Joe
looking at
just happened to
something
be in
for
the meeting.
2022 then.
Pardon,
You're not looking for anything in 2022 then.
not at this point, because I was thinking you guys were already in the middle of your budget, so I wasn't,
Our budgets are due to the council.
and that was I didn't know that the utilities, even though you're separate from the city, but I thought you had the same type of budget, so that was my lack of knowledge on that, so.
And I'll be honest straight up. I mean, we have been looking
Sure,
at going
that's
back to one thing for us in our budgets, it's a steep amount
sure,
to be paying for that, and so we we had started, we looked at some, tried to last year, didn't do it. And we have to do, we're looking to be neighbor. We have to do what, I mean, I think, my opinion on it, 36,000 is pretty high for what has to happen. We can get things a lot cheaper.
Sure.
Services out there, and then we're looking at it. But it's, it'd be a lot better to stay right here.
I just wanted to add that when this came up at budget, this was by no means, hey, we gotta go talk to the guy, great, but something was, you know what, we gotta even address that. And so, we gotta talk to them. I mean, this was clearly just the start of the discussion. I just want to reiterate that. I don't need to be able to make this. I think it's just, hey, we need to review. Can't kind of slow the thunder about the tower, I realize we were getting value from that tower during the course of that 10-year period. But, that is going to transition away. And so part of what I'd like to see, if we're going to continue forward, is to have some sort of mechanism so that we don't have 5-year, 10-year gaps without justice. It's just built into the agreement. So I agree with you also about what's best for the community. I think this was, I guess I would say it's a non-dollar benefit. When you're lying out there in the middle of the night and they have a terrible voice and somebody they know we ever get the phone with words something versus calling a who knows out of state East Coast. I would try to win. There's value.
And I know that, I mean, and you can talk to your lineman, I mean, I know that they, that's the difference there, that we are there, even, your dispatchers don't come out all the time. If we get inundated, if it's a big thing, yes, your lineman dispatchers for the light plant come out, but we are still on that radio, and if they, Josh Bolden, and I'll use Josh as an example, he may call in on the phone and say, hey, I'm gonna go up on this pole. It should take me an hour, but I will let you know when I'm down, but if he's not, we're calling and checking. So, I know they very much appreciate that, and we do. Or at the end of the day, at 4 o'clock or when your people are going home, they'll call and say, hey, we still have some guys out, addressing an issue we had earlier today and taking care of it. And so we will check on them. So it's not just, answering the calls, and adding, but it's just, that's what we do.
So, long story short, I don't believe there's official request, certainly not an official request for 2022, just the topic. Had Joe not been at our meeting, we probably wouldn't be here today. We would have chatted amongst ourselves and probably forgot about it, but it's something that does need to be addressed at some point, and we wanted to just bring it to your attention.
Anybody else have any comments?
What would be, if we have Mark today after our call? Because right now our water is, they're just taking cell phone.
Right. And we, as you can attest to, people, we get calls now already from Waterworks. We get calls for sewer maintenance. In the middle of the night, if we get a call, there's water gushing up out the street, we send an officer to check, we're already calling them. So, we already do. We have their cell phones programmed in. We've got Jim's number too. I mean, we call them after hours if, storms or the storm grades. We don't get a lot of those after hours, but we do call them some, but we definitely already call Waterworks after hours. We get calls.
So I don't think that would be much of a shift for us to meet that more official policy versus sort of the unofficial way.
Because there's not a lot anyway.
I think if we move forward, we need to have a contract that contract I have has no date,
Right.
nothing on it or
Which is,
anything else.
again, part of what, we were kind of winging it back in 2010 or early 11.
Right,
when we
now,
started
it's just
this.
a basic thing of very little. Basically is what it is, and there's, no end date to it or nothing. I mean, if we decide to terminate it, then really tell us we gotta, we don't have to give you, and you know, we want to be fair. You guys, you put your budget together for next year, counting on $36,000. And there is the possibility that we won't go with central dispatch.
And if
Next
you do,
year,
then,
and, you know,
that's your decision,
Right.
absolutely.
But I mean, it's gonna put a crack to your budget with it. And so, you know, those are things that obviously we've been looking at with it. And, but we want to work together
Yes, yes.
with it.
And like I said, we're not kidding when you say, had Joe not been in the room? I'm not, I mean, no, yeah, I'm not, no, but seriously, it literally was it wasn't anything at all. Like, we need to do this. It was, you know, and I told that, I actually brought it up now, and I said, hey, by the way, I know in August, you mentioned the light plant. I said, I did not, I'm joking, I did not do anything with that at this point, because I'm sure their budgets are already in.
Well, I'll just interject. I, for one, appreciate you coming tonight. I agree with Alan 100%. It's a good topic to tee up. In business, sometimes you plan to do the right thing, and sometimes it's that's by happenstance. It's more by happenstance. It's a good topic. If we're thinking we might table this and have more discussion, is there a point person within this board that would take this topic forward on our behalf, or how do you want to proceed, folks?
I can do that.
I would nominate you to do that.
But he's electric anyway, so that
Makes sense. And finance. So I would be looking for something like an interlocal agreement, and we've done a number of those in the county.
We certainly
Topic
open
since then. And it's a more professional way to go. And I think back in 2011, whoever was here, they did what they knew to do, and not that it was totally wrong, but we can do better. So we move forward.
I'm very open to that.
Renee, what if Renee and I get together, you know, here in the very near future, and we can have further discussion, maybe start hammering something out to where it'll be suitable for both of us, and then I can report to Ken, or Ken can be in the meeting as well if he's able, and see what we can get worked out here on this. Because like I said, if it's something that we've been looking at, then we don't want to get in the middle of next year, cut your budget short. We don't want to do it right now, cut your budget short. We just need to get it all worked
And I
out.
understand, like, I know that it was before you were in your position. I know it's been a few years ago.
Ryan, Steve Woods.
It was looked at, yes.
And
We've slept
three of
since
us,
then, but
yeah.
yes, I mean, we did, it was discussed, you know, about, you know, them looking at other options.
And if I may, I'm a little bit ignorant on the history here recently, but up until a short time ago, the antenna location was on our water tower.
Yes, yes,
Have you folks determined how you're moving forward with the antenna location? Where is
yes,
that
yes,
going to be?
it's actually going at the jail. Why it was never placed at the jail to begin with,
So I'm going to ask you a question.
I don't have any idea.
As your service provider, your radio contract manager, have they done a plot
Yes.
of your coverage area?
Yes, yes.
And the
Yes, and it's actually higher as far as the antenna. Height is higher than the water tower.
Okay.
And they have done, Motorola has done that.
Okay, so you shouldn't be
Yes.
reducing your service.
No, because that was like, absolutely,
Okay.
we couldn't have done that. We could not have reduced our coverage.
Will the sheriff's department be charging you a fee for using their tower?
No, no.
Okay. Just asking the question.
No.
It's a county,
It's a
Well, I
county
understand,
tower.
but-
No, it's the counties.
All right then.
You know,
Good question.
Todd and I have had this conversation. Is no matter where you drive, you look at the water tower, and they got antennas. And it was one of my questions to Chris and Todd, is they come and looked at doing it. There is no way, you go to Tip right now, and I was through there yesterday, and there is 9 antennas on top of that tower. So there has to be a way that they can paint that and work around those towers. And I think in our case, if towers were up there, it would be something that would be addressed from the beginning is we're gonna do it with the towers up there to not jeopardize public safety,
Yes, it-
which has been jeopardized.
It has, it's really. like
And
I
it
said,
still is, and it's a AT&T problem.
Yes, so.
It's a state,
So
the
the
T1.
AT&T came and put in the correct equipment this past Friday. So I received emails today, so we are moving closer. About 3 weeks ago, AT&T came to install our WeConnect to the state system through a T1 line. And then AT&T came and installed the equipment. And so the state, it's who manages the Hoosier Safety, the 800 system, we are one. So of course, they contacted AT&T because I'm just the location. This is all done by the state orders these things. And so AT&T came back this past Friday, so that line, supposedly the new correct equipment is in, so we are much closer. I mean, the antenna's already up there. The antenna's up there, it's trying to do connectivity, so we're much closer now. Antenna's in there a little bit,
One last question.
yes.
What are the hours that you want?
When they close at 4 until the
4 to
next
7,
morning,
4 p.m. to 7 a.m.
yes.
And Saturday and Sunday.
and Saturday and Sunday.
One for Saturday and Sunday.
Yes, yes.
And holiday.
And holidays, yes.
There is nothing else. Thank you for coming to the meeting with us.
Thank
tonight.
you. Thank you.
Appreciate information.
If you have any questions, don't hesitate.
Kent and Todd will be working on that.
Yes. All right, thank you.
Henry, you got a report tonight?
No.
Something from Stacy
I
tonight?
got Stacy and Phil and PJ's too.
Let's go to Shane then.
The server was purchased in June.
Yeah, the city's happy with this one. So, fine. Until something else.
With that comment, are they, the city under any hindrance right now with any of their?
They were up last week until there were some problems that Shane and Blair worked through. He got it going, and now it's, all their different are gone, 99% of them are gone, so they're fully operational.
Were those problems attributed to the server
Yes.
issue?
So their server and the store is affected, so
So
yes.
is that set up as a, I hate to use that as a RAID array or simply as redundant servers?
There's a RAID of it. It is a RAID.
Or
There's some technical,
right,
very low level issue
okay,
that still has yet to be.
okay.
Basically, we've got everything going on in the server, trying to get the other people freed up. So we can diagnose it, figure out what's going on, and then we turn around and it's fixed. It's taking some minutes.
So the goal, or the, of the ideal state would be there's 3, I'll just use the term redundant, arrayed servers, is that correct?
So-
Sharing tasks.
Right now, we've got one server up. The second one that we, because we were using parts out of that server to do. So right now, like I said, now it's trying to regroup. So we get everything up on the new one. So that way we can't get over to the other one. Diagnose it, parts will come back out, go to that other server for the CCS. We'll get that server up and going. So right now, we're just, things are, well, not starting up at all.
So ideally, we end up with a RAID array with 3 servers running redundantly.
If finished, I wasn't gonna ask for, I mean, we're got two, so I was gonna wait some. In December, so we don't have three servers just coming at it, aging at the exact same.
Well, independent of what you're intending to do, we go back to the original architecture. It was a 3-server RAID array.
Yeah, but, that's mixing terms. So there'll be 3 servers to share
Okay,
eventually.
okay.
Right now.
And there's a couple of technical reasons why 3 servers is, I'll call it almost infinitely better than 2 servers. Load sharing, redundancy, availability, hardware software issues. So ideally, we would have 3 servers, independent of, let's not worry about spending money, how much cash flow. We would ideally have an architecture that's 3 servers shared.
Ideally, I will end up with 2 servers.
And where we are today is you've got 1 server, almost 100% running new.
We got one server running 100%.
Okay, 100%, no issues.
No issues. Knock on wood. Anybody?
But, and that's okay for what it is, but we really need the 3 server.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, we might get,
Okay, just want to clarify that.
the biggest goal is just getting them plenty of operation.
Yeah,
That's the biggest goal. And that can that's what we're-
All right. Anything else? Thank you, Shane.
Thank you.
and
Commissioner
I want
Poster,
to,
go ahead.
if I may, just tag on that. I want to thank Mark and ACCS and your techs for lending a hand and sorting all this out and getting this, put that together. As Shane mentioned, Blair's name, we do rely on you folks quite a bit when times get tough. So I want to thank you for being available to us.
We appreciate the business. Okay, Chris.
In your packets, there was attachment number 3, attachment number 9. It's just it's a declared NB grant services, which was originally budgeted. We're in the amount for that, which is sub to the Westler. Provide any addition. They provide payroll certification, that's to an SRF. So SRF will not pay those claims, which is $1,200, I believe, which I didn't do it for a month. And they will not pay it without this being in that, in complete estimate. We have to need documentation that it didn't mean provided.
Was that part of the original budget?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's all in there. It's just SRFD's documentation that,
So it's not a surprise. Nope. It was something we
there's no dollar figure put on it.
That's my impression.
They'll do the same thing for wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah.
Is the way it goes.
So we need a motion to approve task order 09, amendment number 3.
So moved.
Motion by Mike Reeder, second Joe. Further discussion? Andrew?
Rick Denny.
Aye.
Joe Rudy.
Aye.
Mike Reeder.
Aye.
Tim Brewer. Mike Kelly.
Aye. You have a copy that you can sign? Finish what you need.
And then just a couple other things, the tank, obviously, there was painted decals put on, tentatively scheduled to fill it either Monday or Wednesday of next week, I believe, based on return of good samples and everything. Hydrant flushing, we're about 63% done, which is 440 out of 684. And myself, Steve Woodard, but also been working on those data. That's also become recognized. And let's get the line in.
You have a question on the paint project. I didn't look at the bid or the specifications. Did that include any kind of film fitness test to certify the fitness?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's,
And that's been measured and recorded.
yeah, we've had a couple bid inspectors, whenever they change. Yeah, and, but they Well, actually, if I'm not mistaken, one of the other with was a new special kind of paint anyway, Rick, that we used this upgrade. Top, yeah. It looks nice.
So do we expect 10 or 15 years?
Typical is 20, that's last time.
Good. Good. Because it's a major undertaking, as we said, so.
I'm just happy that I had agreed with we spelled Frankfurt wrong. I was just happy that Frankfurt was spelled correctly when I looked at it.
Go say that. So when is our next tank painting project on the schedule?
With Breeze was technically scheduled before,
This one over here?
based on revenue.
That was part of the bond issuance or the cost of service study and everything we did. And to be able to start looking back to have that. 23 or 24? 23.
Okay, good.
Anything else?
The water meters are still working with Tyler. They're very slow, responses on, but we're still in the progress.
We're still holding the check.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks.
Jim?
Line coming in, the metro line has 6 sections on it. That take today, possibly more off. The manhole line company, I called in, after them, line manholes, that are extra, they can come back, see if they can get back in that. And on the west south, we have a house that faces Columbia, sanitary goes underneath the west south street house. Back up under in the basement of the west South Street house. So the contractor made contact with South Street. Resident wanted to go in and dig up the basement floor, fix Columbia Street sewer, and said, no, we need to provide that room. So last week, allowed to do 60 feet down per line. I did half of one of them, right, and get it out. In the storm sewer, they got about 80 feet of pipe in there. And said this week, next. Camera, national measurements, found the sanitary flat, but 555 present, road flat, so they're blue. Smoke test sanitary, green out, got the sanitary. It shouldn't be, it's not enough.
Questions? Thank you, Jim. Yeah, we'll come back to the lagoons after you.
From the billing office, we've been having trouble with mail again here lately. Recently, today we received 20 envelopes back, said undeliverable, and came back with all of the same person's name on them. But they were all legit addresses, but I guess this is the third time it's happened in the last 10 days that we're getting these, so we're gonna have some people angry that they're not getting the bills. We're investigating.
Go to that again. They all had the same,
No, ours were correct,
oh, okay.
but they said had returns to sender
Oh, okay.
and had a different address on the label. That address did.
Mine did.
Did it? Yeah, but it's third time in 10 days. Is what these problems. It's coming out of Indianapolis. The office here was very apologetic. They're working on it. Something coming out of Indianapolis because the lady that was sorting the mail one day last week actually took a bunch of them and took the stickers off and put it back in the mail for delivery. Because they were all these little stickers with the same one. So that's a problem we're working through.
Have you discussed the fact that we go to FedEx?
No, I don't think
Contractor, they can't make it straight now.
can't afford it. tell them that, we can't afford it. It would be nice if we had an alternative for right now, because they have, in the last few years, I mean, they lost all the days one time last year, so, and they're in big totes in this place. So if anybody would happen to hear it or gets on Facebook, they're not getting their bills. It's not us, it is.
Is there any balance in that?
We waiver all the late fees then?
Yes, it is, but if we, not, well, right now we have people that are in, we're trying to get them their bills, because Stacy had those, we can handle those, so they're only gonna be really about a day late getting them. But if, somebody would come in and say, I never did get my bill, yes, we will. For right now, we don't have, like, it's somewhere, it's less than 50 right now, it's not a complete disaster. And I believe it's in one of the books that are faithful towards us, or we're also going to call it, pay on time anyway, so those people can call. Well,
What was funny about mine was we got two. And I thought, there are two envelopes and then I got a third envelope that didn't get. I didn't show up in my, anybody signed up on that, UPS or website where you see the mail. It didn't show it on there, but it showed up today on there, and showed the sticker. But some of that could be caused by them doing that, because they scan all that stuff, and when they scan it, if it doesn't scan right, then it's gonna kick it out.
The other thing is back on the properties with stormwater. We did get two envelopes back from Exide where it said it was undeliverable. So Stacy got on the website again, or not the website, she got on the internet and found another billing address for Exide. She found on the Better Business Bureau's website. So it's been rebuilt again, but our 60 days has to start over since we have a new address. So we are still working on that one. That one just came back Friday. That's what she wrote down, a different address. So we're trying not to do the third address. We're trying to get a hold of these people.
They pay the property taxes?
Yeah, it's
Suppose
supposed
that bill gets sent to you.
they get sent to we tried that one, it came back to us because on the beacon, the address says just for property taxes. So they rejected it and sent it back.
Do they have anything on the Secretary of State, registered agent or anything like that?
I don't know what it was.
I mean, I don't know if the company is doing this.
Yeah, they are.
Then they should have a registered agent and practice the state or if they work in the state of Indiana. And they should have that's where you would serve them, if you're suing them. And they should have information on the Secretary of State for principal agent also.
Okay,
I can help you with that.
okay. All right.
See,
That's true.
May I ask, is there any other address that we're chasing down?
No.
Stormwater?
Not right now, it's just that side.
So, Clear Oil of Ohio,
Right now they're paying because the construction site's sitting there, so that piece of property is paying for one, because they're hooked up to the electric.
so they're alive, good.
Yeah,
We got live on the
yeah, so that one, well, Fox Construction's paying.
I understand.
They pay the electric bill, but that piece of property is being paid for.
Okay.
Okay.
Did they pay all of them that were past due?
No. they did not. Well, that would have to go back to Exxon.
We wouldn't have the electricity yet until all the bills were paid. We have that right.
Well, it's a new customer.
Is the property ownership changed hands from Clear Oil?
No, they're rented, it would be like a property owner. I mean, we
The
could try.
deeded owner is the same deeded owner, right?
Well, yeah, but our customer isn't the deeded owner, right? The customer that's paying the bill
Right.
is not the deeded owner.
They're a rent.
So it'd be like if you had a tenant renting a piece of property and then you put it, and there's specific language at this point that we can't do that. We changed the statute, the only thing we can do it for is sewer. Hold a, well, actually, I don't think we can hold a tenant responsible regardless.
I don't think we can.
I don't think we can hold the tenant responsible regardless. If it was a landlord, so they changed the language for the landlord statute, we can hold the landlord responsible for the tenant's bill if it's sewer, but not for any of the other ones. But if it's the reverse and it's a new tenant, we wouldn't be able to hold them responsible for the landlord.
So back to Ken's question.
So no, it's the tenant.
The deeded owner is.
Well, you have to build to feed it
It's
out.
been,
Right,
it's past due.
right. The person who's paying right now is not the deeded owner.
We're oblivious to that. We don't care who's leasing what they decide. We're dealing with the deeded owner and has to.
Yes, but who we hooked up electricity for was not the deeded owner, it was
I understand. I understand.
So I'm not following. I'm not following. What are we trying to do?
I'd like to see the landowner to bring well
Well,
behind.
we can do that, absolutely, but we can't hold the, I thought what we were trying to do is
No.
not hook up the electricity until we got paid, which we can't do because the tenant is the one hooking up the electricity.
But if they, couldn't we send a letter to the deeded owner stating, you know, it's been brought to our attention, you're attempting to rent this piece of property and there is past due accounts.
We can try that, I don't know that we would want to take that to work.
And
But
I
we
go
can
for
try,
it.
And the other thought has been in a proactive sense,
that's true, but
the leaseor of the property, Fox, where it is, when they call for service, electric or whatever you are, we have a letter. The owner of this property is past due. You might need to look for a sign. Thank you very much. I mean, we need to start playing hardball with these people. Instead of.
But then we're getting into interference with contracts, and then he could be sued for interfering with their contracts. And then we're getting ourselves in a position that we're gonna end up litigating something that I don't wanna litigate.
Well, I don't know that this
But
will
you don't.
reoccur. For them to find a circuitous way, and I can't spell that word, roundabout,
Yeah.
you know, I just kind of burned it the wrong way.
Oh, I agree, but the problem we have is with a landlord-tenant situation, we have limited things that we can do to the tenant without getting ourselves in trouble. Now, we definitely can send a demand letter to the owner, that's no problem, tell me when, I'll write it, but,
What's the past due, do we know? No, I don't know. I mean, if it's $29, maybe it's more expensive than
Well, how far can we go back on?
2 years.
2 years, you're probably looking at that piece of property somewhere in $15, $16 a month.
What's being said.
Let's make, yeah, and then
Right.
language.
so again, that goes back to the whole, is it worth it for the principal of the thing?
Now, excise is different, because there's some
All's
laws
been
that
good for the land, property owners,
Oh, yeah, that's, well, that's,
utilities get
yes.
hosed.
And you're right.
And that's what
Excise
you,
is
you statute,
It's
right,
still
changed
not
the law, I mean, that was a
cashing
huge
out.
landlord. I mean, the lobby must be incredible, but
So this is kind
lobby
of,
for our interests, not
we're
for.
trying the cost of doing business as a utility operation. Yes. There's going to be some. Bring in.
I mean, you can go after them and make an example of them, but you don't really wanna pay me to do that. Right,
Good stuff.
on electric, there's been an additional 1 mile of line that's been rebuilt out, east of town to fill in this crew and the other crew both were working on. So we got, it was just all poles. The line was good, it just replaced the poles still. Gives me good time to doing that. All the trucks will be pipeline tested this week. They were cleaned and waxed and all with their dielectric wax and all that stuff, so they'll be in pipeline tested this week. And Frito Lay East was down for maintenance one day last week or Friday. So when they de-energized the line for Frito Lay, Phil took, the whole line crew, both line crews, tree trimmers, everybody went out there with game busters on tree trimming. Took out a good line of trees and got everything topped to get them out of those power lines because it's a mess out there. So we're in pretty good shape on the industrial park with the trees for right now, but it still needs a lot of work. But that was done last Friday. I think it brought back 5 or 6 dump truck loads of mulch from the number of trees and stuff that they had down there. So they were running full force with that down there.
Can't we just get them and leave?
I told them to take it and just mulch it, and just do the mulch.
I go to Antioch and their trees come out on our field and come out that way. I cut them down, leave them on the park. It's everything.
And
The statute says you can't have a tree within 20 feet.
that's why I was just thinking, because, one of the things we talked about with that tree trimming crew, that was one of the things they did, was just come smaller trees and everything, just so the mulch on the ground. Blow it back on the ground. Right.
It did all along the highway.
Yeah. So if we ever get into another big thing, it's probably one of the things we're going to do. If we don't leave them, if we leave them, then we have to get back in there, it's just gonna make a bigger mess. But if we mulch it, then we work as well.
Still need your pile down and I still need some more labor.
That pile out there. Like I said, we took 5 or 6 dump trucks back there the other day, but that pile's pretty big. We can cover your yard if you want. Okay. For wastewater, they got the southeast lagoon clean for the construction crew to come in and start digging, changing valves. But that was a chore. Last week it was full of grit, but since the other lagoons were down, they got that. And we had a drain pipe off one of the lagoons break last week. And fortunately, PJ wanted me to thank our sewer maintenance. They came out and helped. We had to get water to come out and help us with the line. Joe's crew deals with PVC, and Chris's crew deals with duct lines. So we had both with this line for the help of the game. And then we got a leak in our Allen tank. They've been working on that, trying to get that taken care of. It's not new construction. It's just
So that's not very old.
it's not.
You might check with Westlers and see what the warranty is on there.
That's usually a line to do that.
Well. Let me have that conversation tomorrow at our progress meeting
Okay.
with Mr. Holden.
Okay.
No, Bob Holden.
So how far are we from the wastewater treatment?
Suppose it's scheduled as next July, or this coming July, I guess. It's July 22 is what it's scheduled.
So can someone like it got a lot done?
Looks to me like
I mean,
if you just went in out there, you'd think their heads.
Yeah, but we don't have our 2 clarifiers nor the digesters on yet. Those are still shut down. We're working half plant. They're supposed to bring those back on November, 1st of November.
I think so.
Find that out tomorrow to bring that back on, then they can finish their other construction. But you're right, they're making leaps and bounds up there.
Someone could check to see if all that schedule to be done yet. Is there a thorough evaluation of confined space requirements to be accomplished? Because during my walkthrough that we did, gave me 2 weeks ago, my mental note was there were some confined spaces that weren't labeled as such. Can you rephrase that? It could have been some high spaces that may not have been labeled as such. Maybe I didn't see it. That's one of the things we want to make sure is right. Say we're done that. It's all.
Well, where you were looking at stuff was stuff that they weren't, that wasn't part of the construction site, I believe.
Oh, there's two questions.
Yeah, there's two
New
questions. We'll have to do new
Existing.
construction and existing construction.
And it may have been there, it may have been the other side of the tank.
Yeah, because that's, we were in the ammonia building, not the ammonia building,
Right.
the bleach building back by the
Right.
dunes, and you notice that one, but that building's not being touched because it was only time, so
So I'm correct.
we'll have to look at both,
Okay.
okay?
It'd be an easy thing to do, all I have to say, oh, we've got 21 confined spaces, we've got 21 signs, 21. Everybody's trained. Might be a good thing to do.
Okay.
And maybe just fine.
What did he say the cost was going to be to repair that Allen tank?
They were trying to get it done at their place, or with our guys and stuff, he was right up to that, so I didn't get pressed.
You don't know what's broke on it?
No.
I'll take a look tomorrow.
From my end, I have an email chain going now with a different person from ConAgra about the lane for a substation. The other guy kind of disappeared on me, and his email no longer goes through, so I was able to get a whole chain shared and got one of the main people that was here in town from ConAgra, and we have an email chain going. He said it should be taken care of fairly quickly now that I got all of him, so we're still in good graces to make the lane for that for substation.
So we're still shopping for acreage. We've got two potentials.
Well, the second potential still going, the first potential fell through, the second potential now is still going.
Okay, second potentials.
Yeah.
This would be the third potential.
No, same, second, we're still working on the second. And it would be right just north of Skiles Electric on ConAgra's property. Is where we were kind of limited on choices.
Yeah.
Depending on our circuits and stuff.
You don't want to
Fall.
fall.
Yeah, we don't want to get away from that, so, that's where we're at with that, but it sounds still very favorable that they're gonna give it to us at this point in time. And on talking about substations, I got an email today, the first transformer is going to the final testing for the West Side Sub. We thought it was, they asked if I wanted to go see the final testing, and then they told me it was an item. It's Virginia Transformer, this was built in some reason, this was being built in Idaho, so I'm glad we don't have to pay the freight on it here for transformer. Good ask. So that whole thing, that whole substation, all the work is being done. I got a phone call as well today that the bid package for the construction went out today, and it will go out in our paper Wednesday. We're gonna get the ad in the paper on Wednesday. So that's all being covered. And I'll leave the other thing for now. I'll leave the rest of the line for dispatch. So, yeah. Okay.
Mike Beck, anything tonight? Anything from the good?
I do have power washing, painting, structures. They look fantastic. We have a situation was we had the underneath side of both roof areas had been just untreated particle board. Put up new that way. And so now we have good coat of paint on all exposed wood surfaces, which will slow down absorption of moisture, go on the left. I'd like to ask the board for permission to go ahead and pay the invoice due at the quoted amount. If there's no objection. Yeah.
So we did it out of utilities or take it out of storm?
There is a line item for lagoons that we have in the cover. So we
Cover it?
yeah,
It's in the USB.
that's why.
there's a.
USB.
Yeah.
But there is a lagoons line that will cover that.
That's great. If no one opposed, we don't need a official vote on that.
No,
Because we passed and we approved.
They do look nice. I was out there Friday. I went out Friday afternoon. They do look very nice.
Rick,
A lot better.
if you would, get, next time we have, I'm gonna try to get out there with a picture.
I have other things to say.
Get a picture of these things that are going on. That's why I put the tower up here tonight, because I'm trying to, and then the Hoke Avenue fiasco.
That Oak Avenue, if you don't mind me jumping in there.
No, go ahead.
That was due to a Walker truck that was going south on Oak. And he didn't have his tailgate latched and chained. And his tailgate came swinging and open on his hopper. Hit that pole and it vibrated up and vibrated the wires and broke the crossbar.
So you're gonna invoice them that.
And John was in Friday and said, make sure that he said pay it, said turn it into insurance.
You agree on that?
Yes. Yeah. It was $1,500 and some odd dollars for that cross arm in the work that was done. But, yeah, he's paying.
And it must have been, where the crews must have been fairly close. 'Cause
They were just coming in from out east chasing poles. And they were getting ready to go right by there and they saw it and stopped. So
They were actually going home. They worked through lunch at.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got the overtime paid for that they spent from John because it was an overtime job. So we didn't get hurt on it. But it was just lucky there wasn't a car there or somebody walking down the sidewalk in that tailgate. But it got on poles.
Well, anyhow, thank you. Back to the lagoons, I took some photographs, but unfortunately, there was a visitor from afar who was sleeping under one of the picnic lists. He had his Liberty Speed bicycle with 5 bags attached to it. And he was sprawled out in the sleeping bag with a blanket over his head. And I didn't want to disturb the gentleman, but he was not asleep. So the only photographs I have is him in the middle of the picnic lagoon. But I do agree, posting photos is something that Andrew and I talked about on the new city utilities website. Do more of it. My question on Leo would like to pick up this check. So how quickly does that happen? Once we,
2 weeks from tomorrow, unless you want to approve it.
no, I don't want to pre-write.
2 weeks from tomorrow.
Okay, can we make that happen? Okay. And
I
where
I
would be?
would say, how much is it?
$1,100.
No,
That's like
36.
something.
Oh, we I mean, he's had it done. There's really no sense in making him wait.
All right. I
I
think
think
he's
he all right,
Yes,
yeah.
I
guys.
think he'd appreciate that.
Some of our local business
Right.
people don't work on a big,
No, he operates on a
March.
basis. Jim pays for the next person's paid. But he's-
No, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
He's good. He did a
Could he
fantastic
pick that
job.
check up tomorrow at Power My office?
Probably Wednesday.
Wednesday, just to be safe.
Okay, this week?
Yeah.
Oh, at Power Line?
Yeah, he big looking, but when Andrew gets it done, he can.
I'll get it.
actually, all he's gotta do is walk across the street, isn't it? He worked out
That'd
a
be
bit.
too easy.
He works out of the church over there.
Yeah.
But can he come to your office?
He's
Have
here.
him come here, have him come here, if you talk to him, have him just come in and see Sarah, we'll have.
That's what I
We'll give a check.
Okay.
Check on Sarah.
I'll take it up to.
Thank you. Well, he did a great job, and I want to thank Todd for getting one of the generators we keep up on the shelf cleaned up, and tuned up, and ready to use. He used it.
Yeah.
And then our city parks provided a water truck for our worship jobs. They're very cooperative in that, so.
Yeah, it worked out well, it was well planned out.
I probably should have mentioned it when Alan was here, but we do, in the balance, we do benefit from the county being a good partner to us with regard to getting grading of traffic lanes, mowing side ditches, et cetera. So I wouldn't want to cut off that relationship to start with. And I owe the board some information on what we're doing next. What we're doing next, I want to get the wetlands overlook, which has been going down for a little over a year now. We'll get the brush cut away from that so we can get a welding crew of one and then rebuild that thing, get that taken care of. The benefit of the visitor completeness. That's all I got.
We have a welder on that new service truck for wastewater. How do you think of that?
Well, I'm gonna look at the utilities first because I looked at the city and I think we go in there.
Yeah, so, but we do that new service truck we got last year, the year before, I was driving down, does it, it's also break up the welder and
Do
everything.
you have a welder?
Step
person?
also to do it, yeah.
Okay, I would be very interested in that. That would not be dangerous, so
Me too on that.
maybe I can help them figure out the structural,
Okay,
integrity part. Just do the rule of thumb, rule 10, make it 10 times stronger, needs to be probably strong enough.
well, we'll have to, Seth would have to get on there, anybody else.
I understand, yeah. You get it, beta test. All right, good deal, we'll talk.
Okay.
That's all I got.
All right, go ahead.
I'm looking over these, complaint Jim called in on the power outage that we had the other day. It says that power outage was dispatched in 2044, which would be 8:44 evening. They're showing we didn't arrive until 22:41. So it took us an hour and 30 minutes to get there.
No, because Cameron was on call, he was there, and then he called, Phil, Jimmy got a hold of Phil, and Phil was on his way to town at the same time, but no, it did not take us an hour. I don't know how they would know when they're on site, because I don't think they call them and know they're on site.
Where she thought they did.
All these things, you know,
Yes, when they call in and see if they can do it.
Where do you see the,
right here under Jim's, it says dispatch, it says en route, ENRT's en route to call. That happened at 2044. And at 2241, they arrived, ARRT. It's 2 hours.
no,
7 minutes. They worked until 5:53
yes,
AM.
yes.
Just one guy down here. The second one that called in, yeah, that was.
Brian, yeah, he was a real true to talk to. Forgot right. So,
We need to hire this Jim first. His meter box is off. He went out to the road and his breaker was on. I was breaker on and
He's a little qualified.
yeah,
He's coach.
All right. Claim,
we were accepting claims.
and we'll just add Leo's to that in this.
As a breaker.
I'll second that.
All right. Roll call.
Joe Ruth.
Aye.
Mike Reeder.
Aye.
Rick Van
Aye.
Kim Brewer. Mike.
Aye. What you got for us tonight? Any new business? Old business? Motion for adjournment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
You're on vacation or what?